All right, let's just get right into it. When you hear the words Super Bowl, what pops into your head? Probably a 60-minute football game, right? Two teams, four quarters, one iconic trophy. But that hour of game time, it is literally just the tip of a massive, multi-billion-dollar iceberg. Right at the moment that ball is kicked off, there is a sprawling, invisible army working relentlessly behind the scenes. Today, in this explainer, we're going to look way past the gridiron and uncover the logistical monster that makes this global spectacle possible. Imagine the sheer scale of moving parts it takes to host a small city's worth of VIPs, all converging on a single stadium for one night. That's exactly what we're unpacking today.
So here's the roadmap for this explainer. We're going to take a big zoom-out approach. We'll start with the origins of the Super Bowl, then look at preparing the host city, tackle the Super Bowl week logistics, break down the television spectacle, dig into big money and prop bets, and finally wrap up with the ultimate cleanup.
Section 1, Origins of the Super Bowl. A Super League needs a Super Bowl. To really grasp the sheer scale of this thing, we had to quickly trace it back to how this whole 32-team, two-conference system actually got started.
Okay, rewind to 1966. Two rival football leagues decide to merge. They desperately need a championship game, and since college football was already throwing around the word bowl for their postseason games, they figured, hey, a Super League needs a Super Bowl. It's actually kind of hilarious that a name casually tossed around became the title for the biggest cultural event in America. The very first game went down in 1967 between the Packers and the Chiefs, but the name wasn't actually officially stamped on it until Super Bowl IV in 1970. Now, fast forward to modern times, and it is an absolute juggernaut. To put this in perspective for you, 19 of the top 20 most watched American TV broadcasts in history are Super Bowls. The only exception is the series finale of MASH. Everything else, football.
Section 2, Preparing the Host City. 4 years and millions of dollars. So how exactly do you go about hosting the biggest event in American culture? $60 million. That's the massive upfront price tag Las Vegas paid just to get ready for Super Bowl 58. And what does that chunk of change actually buy? Well, it covers major stadium renovations, meticulously mapped out traffic routes, and crucially, expanding airport capacity. Because remember, this isn't just about handling a few extra commercial flights. The host city is dealing with an unbelievable influx of massive wealth. Vegas had to prep for over 880 private jets dropping in for the weekend. Just imagine an airport playing a high-stakes game of Tetris on its tarmac, frantically shuffling hundreds of private planes around just to park them for billionaires, celebrities, and executives.
So you might be wondering, why on earth would a city voluntarily sign up for that kind of logistical nightmare? Well, do the math. That $60 million investment is projected to trigger an estimated economic boost of $600 to $700 million. That's a massive 10x return. That is exactly why cities battle it out fiercely for 4 long years just for the chance to host. But dropping a sudden $600 million cash injection and thousands of VIPs into one city instantly makes it a huge target. This is why the Super Bowl is officially designated as a national security special event, which puts it on the exact same security tier as a presidential inauguration.
We are talking about building a literal fortress here. Pulling this off takes incredible collaboration and well over 3,000 specialized security personnel. You've got state and local law enforcement doing the heavy lifting, around 1,200 to 2,000 officers. But they're heavily backed up by 500 to 700 highly trained agents from the FBI, the Secret Service, and Homeland Security. Plus, you throw in another 200 to 400 National Guard troops. For one single Sunday, that stadium and the area around it become one of the most heavily militarized and surveilled spots on the planet. Absolutely nothing gets in or out without being meticulously checked. Section 3, Super Bowl week logistics. Timing it down to the minute. Let's zoom in a bit, moving from the host city right down to the players on the ground. Every single team travels with about 115 to 130 people. That's your active roster, practice squad, coaches, medical staff, the whole operations crew. And their week is rigidly mapped out step by step. Step 1, they arrive the Sunday before the game. Step 2 is Monday's opening night, which is an absolute media circus unlike anything else in sports. Steps 3 and 4 are Tuesday through Saturday, requiring a monastic level of focus. It's nothing but intense practices, highly controlled media sessions, and Saturday walkthroughs to finalize the game plan. And then, Step 5, game day. Imagine the pure anxiety of waking up a full 7 hours before kickoff, knowing over 100 million people are waiting to watch you perform. They get police escorts to the stadium, grind through 90 minutes of warm-ups, and finally hit the turf for 4 brutal 15-minute quarters.
Now, I mentioned the total chaos of Monday's opening night, and honestly, nothing captures that wild, hectic energy quite like this famous viral moment. Picture thousands of screaming reporters and flashing cameras just totally crowding these players on the floor of an arena. And right in the middle of that deafening noise, you have legends like Deion Sanders and Marshawn Lynch dropping perfectly candid, hilarious moments. Exchanges like, "You look good," "Shit, you do too," provide a very real, unscripted human moment in an otherwise hyper-manufactured week. It's crazy, but getting all that intense media obligation out of the way early lets the players actually lock in and focus for the rest of the week.
Section 4. The television spectacle. Broadcasting to 127 million people. Because let's be real, the 70,000 people actually sitting inside the stadium are just a tiny drop in the bucket. To broadcast this game to an average of over 127 million live viewers, the pressure on the media operation is just hard to overstate. The NFL literally requires 6,000 credentialed media members on site, and the 4 major networks actually take turns holding the broadcasting rights to share this massive ratings wealth year after year. Whether it's CBS with Jim Nantz and Tony Romo, Fox with Kevin Burkhardt and Tom Brady, NBC's Mike Tirico and Chris Collinsworth, or ABC's Joe Buck and Troy Aikman, these specific teams are chosen to be the voice of a historical event. They are narrating American history in real time, managing the unbelievable pressure of hundreds of millions hanging on their every word.
And when you have that many eyeballs glued to the screen, the commercial real estate becomes the most expensive on planet Earth. Think about this. A decade ago in 2014, a 30-second commercial ran about $4 million. Last year, that exact same 30 seconds jumped to $7.5 million. And they air 80 to 90 of these things. Then, you've got the halftime show. The NFL drops roughly $15 million to produce a 13-minute spectacle. Think about what $15 million packed into 13 minutes actually looks like physically. It demands cross-generational stars, a massive stage that is built and completely torn down in minutes, state-of-the-art lighting, pyrotechnics, and hundreds of backup dancers executing flawless choreography.
Section 5. Big money and prop bets. Suites, streakers, and billions. We've seen the official NFL revenue streams, so let's transition to the dizzying amounts of money changing hands just outside of that official ecosystem.
Get this. Last year, a record $1.39 billion was legally wagered on the Super Bowl. And people aren't just betting on who wins or loses. The world of proposition or prop bets is completely wild. People gamble on the exact length of the national anthem. You can bet on whether a player will propose to his girlfriend right after the game, or on the elusive octopus, which is when a single player scores a touchdown and the subsequent 2-point conversion entirely by themselves. Fans even bet on totally unplannable disasters like a stadium power outage, which actually happened during Super Bowl 47. Can you imagine losing cold, hard cash because the winning coach got drenched in blue Gatorade instead of red? It sounds absurd, but it's a massive industry.
But my absolute favorite gambling anecdote is this one right here. Back in 2021, a bold fan placed a $50,000 prop bet that there would be a streaker during the game. The odds were plus 750. So, to guarantee his bet would hit, he hatches a plan, goes to the game, and literally streaks the field himself. He was in line for a massive $374,000 payout. Unfortunately for him, the sportsbooks quickly figured out he was the one gaming the system and totally voided the bet. It was a brilliant, highly illegal attempt for sure, but it perfectly sums up the crazy lengths people will go to during this event. Now, contrast those crazy gambling sums with the cost of experiencing the pinnacle of luxury at the game itself, $2.5 million. That is the upper limit for a luxury suite at the Super Bowl. For the price of a literal Hollywood mansion, what do you actually get? You get VIP parking, a private full-service cocktail bar, overflowing buffets of gourmet food prepared by expert chefs, and premium climate-controlled seating for up to 50 of your closest friends or top business clients. It is the ultimate flex of exorbitant wealth, and it really showcases how the game is as much a high-stakes corporate networking event as it is a sporting competition. Section 6. The ultimate cleanup. 72 hours to reset. Because eventually all massive parties have to come to an end. Let's look at what happens the second the final whistle blows and the bets are cashed. The reset process is an incredibly fast, monumental logistical feat all on its own. Armed with an army of 10,000 volunteers, which is basically the population of a small town, they get to work immediately. Within the first 2 hours, the initial stadium trash is completely gone. Over the next 6 to 12 hours, crews deep clean the concourses, power wash the floors, and literally scrub the paint of the NFL logos right off the grass to erase the league's presence. Then, over the next 2 to 3 days, volunteers tear down all the massive fan events outside the stadium. It requires pure military-like precision to completely reset a major American city in just 72 hours. Also, Monday morning traffic can resume and the final financial audits can actually begin. Which brings us to a massive question to end this explainer. When you tally it all up, the 4 years of intense bidding and planning, the hundreds of millions in infrastructure, the 3,000 security personnel, the thousands of media members, 880 private jets, and a $15 million, 13-minute halftime show, it all culminates in a single 60-minute game. Is it worth it? When you step back and consider the immense cultural impact, the massive economic return, and the sheer human effort required to pull it all off, it's pretty clear the Super Bowl is no longer just a football game, it is the ultimate American spectacle. So, what do you think? Thanks for joining me on this deep dive, and I will catch you on the next one.